Sai.
Brago.
One Piece was good this week.
Yeah, it was okay, right? It was a decent chapter.
I'd say so. Unexpected. I mean, first off, when I was reading the chapter felt like it was going on forever. Felt like a very long chapter.
Yeah,
Not
a lot of
complaining.
talking.
There's a lot of yap. Good yap. But all right. Let me ask you now.
Oh God.
Maybe it's recency bias. Like, how do you rate this chapter in comparison to like all the Elbaf chapters?
All of Elbaf?
All of Elbaf.
I wouldn't say it's like the best. I'd say it's definitely somewhere in the top 5 though, because we tackled so many things. Like, I feel like
That's what I'm
every
saying.
part of this chapter was massive in its own right.
Yeah, that's why I got it up there. And I think because of the legs that this chapter has from every single part
Yeah.
of the chapter, I think is right up there with the Miro chapter for me.
Damn. Yeah. I mean, I think this is probably like number 4, number 5. I mean, like, you know, I'm a God Knight guy, dude. Emu's reveal here, still crazy to me. I think what could have pushed this chapter over the edge is if that damn cover page story was better. All I gotta say.
Let's take a quick break to talk about something important: mental health, and a service that's been a game changer for me, BetterHelp. If you're feeling stressed, anxious, or just need someone to talk to, BetterHelp makes professional counseling accessible, affordable, and convenient. It's an online platform that connects you with licensed therapists through text, chat, phone, or video. Whatever works best for you. I gave it a shot a while back when I was feeling a bit overwhelmed with work, life, YouTube, and I gotta say, it really did make a difference. I signed up on their website, filled out a quick questionnaire about what I was dealing with, like stress and even trouble sleeping, and they matched me with the therapist in less than a day. And being able to do it from my laptop was very easy. No driving, no waiting rooms, just real support when I needed it. My therapist was straightforward and helped me sort through some tough stuff. I could message her anytime between sessions, which was great when I needed to vent or get advice on the spot. She gave me practical tools like breathing exercises and ways to manage my schedule that I still use today. What I liked most though was the flexibility. I could switch therapists if it didn't feel right, and I even tried phone sessions when I was short on time. It's also more affordable than traditional therapy, and you can cancel anytime if it's not for you. Guys, mental health matters, and taking that first step can be hard, but BetterHelp, it makes it easier. If you're interested, head to betterhelp.com to sign up and get matched with a licensed therapist today. You deserve to feel better. BetterHelp can help make that happen. All right, let's get back to the video.
Now, I really don't expect much from the cover page at this point. It's kind of like, I appreciate it because it's new content, right? It's new canon material of what's going on, somewhat irrelevant, and so we're just buying time until it's important again.
Yeah,
I get it.
We just ignore it for now.
But okay, I guess my goal in this video is to show Sai why this chapter is top 1 in all of One Piece history. No, that's kind of crazy.
I saw you talking about Mihawk upscaling off this chapter too, so I'm excited.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about it.
I saw you say that this chapter makes Mihawk look good. I'm like, damn, bro, how did we get there, man? I didn't even see Mihawk here.
Listen, the funny part is that this happens all the time. This comes up every time Shanks gets a little bump or a swordsman is revealed. Mihawk upscale. Mihawk upscale. Mihawk upscale.
Blackbeard upscale.
So
my God,
it's entertaining, but you know, it is what it is. Cover story again. Doesn't really matter. It's just Kawamatsu getting a hat, and I don't know.
We can skip it, man. We don't have to talk about it, please.
There's nothing going on. There's nothing going on. You guys read it. Now, to the chapter. Harden is mad, right? He's really mad at Loki. But let's draw our focus to Scopper Gaban.
Yeah.
Because Luffy's about to leave, and Scopper said, "Hey, wait, Luffy. Be mindful of the way you use Conqueror's Haki. Those guys are by no means immortal." How did you feel about that explanation?
You know, he didn't really tell us how to hurt the Holy Knights. He just pointed us in that direction, which I guess is better than nothing. But if I was Luffy, I'd say, hey, Gaban, What do you mean? What are you talking about?
At first, when I initially read it, I was like, really, that's it? That's all you have to say? Be mindful of how you use Conqueror's Haki? But it's almost like he's letting Luffy know, hey, they're not immortal. Conqueror's Haki is the key.
Yeah.
So now it narrows it down immensely. Where before you're like, oh my gosh, there's no way to do it. It's almost like the Logias pre-time skip, where we're like, oh my gosh, like we're just cooked, man. There's nothing we can do to hurt him. Then you find out, well, there is a way you can do it, which is interesting. Because Rayleigh showed Luffy how to hurt, Logias and stuff like that. And now we have Gaban teaching him how to hurt the God Knights. I would have liked more of an explanation, but I mean, Luffy, you can say he's a genius and he's going to figure it out. But we have some questions.
Yeah.
Well, the questions come from, well, Luffy did fight against the Gorosei. And one would assume he was using Conqueror's Haki, but he was using Conqueror's Haki in the right way. How do you feel about that?
That's where I'm at. I do think that whenever Luffy uses Gear 5th, he does unleash a little bit of Conqueror's Haki. That's my headcanon, right? Kind of like how Gear 4th uses Armament Haki all the time. I think Gear 5th always uses Conqueror's Haki.
Yeah, didn't Kaido basically say that?
In the chapter where Kaido says that he's coding himself in Haki, in Conqueror's Haki, that was the same panel where like Luffy was in Gear 5th using his spinning punches. So it's like, yeah, I think Gear 5th just inherently has that. It's quote leaking out of him whenever he's in Gear 5th. I think that's a new term people like to use. Ooze. Yeah, ooze. Ooze is a good one too. But I think Luffy's just letting it go. Whereas Scopper's like, hey, you got to control the leak. You got to control the flow of Conqueror's Haki. Whatever that looks like, we have no idea yet. Maybe Luffy has to intentionally like imbue his Haki in his opponents. Maybe he has to wound their soul. Maybe he has to aim for a specific part of their body. Like, we don't really know. But I think at the end of the day, I'm just happy we have an answer finally, right? We can finally stop speculating on how to do it. Now we could just narrow it down saying, okay, Luffy, Loki, Zoro, maybe Sanji. They're our only hope right now because they are the ones who have Conqueror's Haki. And Scopper, but he's, down for the count.
Interesting. You included Sanji, W's. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that the instruction was enough.
It
right?
worked.
Considering who it is. For most, I mean, I guess for most Conquerors, for most Conqueror's Haki users, they're geniuses. But
what made you stop? What held you back? Who?
Kid.
No,
he's a genius,
Brago.
though.
Brago, can't you see it? This is how Kid comes back. Dude, you're the Kid comeback guy. You have that video on him, right?
Yes, I know, but I'm losing hope rapidly, all right? I'm losing hope, and Luffy's getting another bump, another power-up, and I fear Kid is going to come back with Rio, and he's going to be ecstatic about it.
I just learned future sight.
Kaido has no chance now.
That damn red hair. Dead, I have observation Haki now. God.
And
it's years just behind.
Just years behind. And it's worse because they're in Elbaf, because that's another thing we could talk about. But either way, I thought the explanation was fine. Let's jump to Loki. When Loki said Gaban's explanation made it click for him. So I'm like, damn, maybe I was wrong. Where it's like, I didn't feel like Gaban's explanation was good enough. And Loki's like,
that was perfect.
Made everything click for me, right? Where he talked about facing the God Knights and he says he knows he can beat them. Then he's like, yo, just take me with you. So what I'm like is, do you think he's talking about a situation with Shamrock and Gunko, or is he talking about another situation where he faced them?
Okay, I'm glad you said that because I thought I was going crazy. Because I was like, wait a minute, like, is he... Because when he fought Shamrock and Gunko, it wasn't a fight,
he didn't
right?
Fight.
He didn't face them off.
He just laid there.
He got beat, bro.
So it makes it seem like he did something against him. He wasn't in a position to do anything. So him saying that is like... I'm like, okay, was it another moment, or is he messing with Hirunden? Like, is it just him just trying to find a reason to go? Like, oh, yeah, I definitely did that before. Like, just take me with you, brother. So
I go around.
Yeah, I'm like, huh? So I'm gonna assume that he fought maybe a few God Knights before, because the Harold reversey thing is looking more and more likely, looking more and more likely. So I maybe he fought them before, but I thought that was just an interesting statement. But Harden is mad, right? For good reason, because Loki's a liar. But before that, again, I think this has been, funny enough, the most talked about thing. And it's Scopper saying that there's another in your group who uses Conqueror's Haki. So I've been seeing people say that it's a translation error, and that based on exactly what it says, it implies that there are multiple people that he's talking about. So I'm like, I don't want to delve too deep because I'm gonna wait for the viz and see what that says.
Yeah.
But based on what the translation says, there's another in your group who uses Conqueror's Haki. Sanji confronts Scopper and says, is it me? Right? And he's like, ha, I knew it. Right? Mosshead and Jinbei, they were about to usurp me. About to. So he still considers himself beyond those guys. Scopper ignores him, and then he says to Zoro, it seems like your body is growing accustomed to it. So this basically confirms, we already knew Zoro had Conqueror's Haki. So it's further confirmation of Zoro having Conqueror's Haki, and his body's getting used to it. So I don't know. The more I thought about it, the more I'm thinking, okay, Conqueror's Haki in general, how it gets unlocked, I guess after you unlock it fully, it's an adjustment period for your body. And he can tell that Zoro is somewhat still new to it, based on his crazy observation, we're presuming. But I liken it to Nen, where it's like, when Nen, where the pores open up, and then you can start using Nen, and then it kind of grows from there. And it seems like from whatever Scopper is seeing, it looks brand new. But then when I think about Conqueror's Haki, and just technically you're born with it, or that's implied by Rayleigh, right? You can't directly train it. But my thing is, like, with Conqueror's Haki, you would never know if somebody wasn't born with it. You know what I mean? Like, because if they unlock it, they're going to be like, well, they were just born with it.
They're a late bloomer.
As opposed to them, right, they were a late bloomer, as opposed to them developing it at a later date. So it's like, that's speculation by Rayleigh, but I would assume because you're born with Conqueror's Haki, it would be easier for his body to adjust. It would be adjusted by now, but I don't know.
Maybe it's like, after the first real showing of Conqueror's Haki, that's when the adjustment period starts. So when you're born with Conqueror's Haki, you don't start adjusting to it, and your body doesn't grow accustomed to it until you first start showing it and using it more often. Kind of like Zoro back in Wano. But like you said, it's tough because, like, we don't really have a proper explanation of Conqueror's Haki. We learned from Rayleigh, like, oh, you're born with it. And then we heard from Boa, like, oh, like, you just, have the ambitions of a conqueror. It's like, okay, wait, like, this is, like, very different, right? I hope that since Conqueror's Haki is becoming the focus in this arc, that we learn more about it. Like, hey, like, is there a way to naturally unlock it besides any of those options? Like, once you get it, like, how do you master it? How do you train it? Because like you said, Rayleigh said you cannot directly train it. But I would argue that Luffy in Onigashima was directly training it, right? He was just using it over and over until it kind of just stuck, until it became coding. So that, in a way, is training. So I'm very torn on Conqueror's Haki right now. I think I'm more so just kind of curious to see what he said to Sanji.
Yeah. That's a big one, because Sanji doubled down. He said, yo, what about me? Because he scolded Zoro for the most part.
Which was fun.
But wait, we didn't mention Luffy saying that Zoro's Conqueror's Haki has been oozing off of him.
He's been leaving traces everywhere, dude. He's like Slimer out of Ghostbusters.
Just oozing everywhere, all over the place. And Luffy saw it. And I've seen some complaints already about people saying, why? Because people saying, why didn't they talk about this already? Like, if you start oozing, is there not even a question about, hey, Zoro, Congress is oozing off you. What's going on here? And people, there's been a complaint for a while saying the Straw Hats should talk more to each other, considering what they know, what they could possibly know. And it kind of feels like
like you saw it oozing, you didn't say anything. But this is Luffy. I'm not shocked or mad about that. But I saw some complaints about it. But then he got scolded by Scopper saying that Conqueror's Haki is a power that needs to be understood and tamed. And I'm just like, I get it, but we don't even understand Conqueror's Haki like that. And so, I mean, it being tamed, I get it, where it's like it's not a one size fits all. Because for like Kid and Conqueror's Haki or Luffy or Rayleigh, it's like it's like almost like a living organism that they have to kind of mold themselves. So I can't tell you what to do with it, how to train it. You have to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, which is very different from Rayleigh, right? Like for Luffy didn't know he had Conqueror's Haki until he met Rayleigh. He used it a couple times back in Impel Down, used that Marineford. He had no clue what was happening. So the whole thing where Zoro doesn't know and he can't tame it yet, I think that's fair. Zoro, to him, this is like an alien thing. Like he just has this weird power out of nowhere. Like we don't even know what Conqueror's Haki feels like, right? For armament and observation, it's like a thing you have to actually utilize. But for Conquerors, it's just like a passive.
This happens.
Yeah.
I mean, Kaido mentioned. But I don't know, but Kaido kind of said it to himself.
Kinda. Yeah, maybe he whispered, dude, it's windy up there on the rooftop.
Right, there's a lot going on, right? A lot of people fighting, yelling,
ah! Yeah, like, you got thunder clouds, Big Mom's singing and laughing.
He's like, huh? What'd you say? He's like, this one is...
Yeah.
Like, what?
Like, I do imagine, like, and, you see animes where people are talking, it's like, wait, how does he hear that guy over there? How's that possible?
But even King... Did King still have his mask on?
Yeah, King had his mask on still, I think. Do you think he was trying to talk to Zoro? Zoro just didn't hear anything?
So he's like, what? Anyway, I mean that's what happened clearly, because like Zoro's like, huh? I have Conqueror's Haki?
My bad.
I'm like, brother. All right. Scopper's not wrong though, right? He's saying you got to be meticulous about it. But I'm like, it's a process. And the strides, they're clearly, if Zoro's been using Conqueror's Haki unintentionally this entire time, not knowing what he's doing, with him understanding it, I think the growth is about to be exponential. It's about to be insane for Zoro. Back to Sanji, though, because I think that I've seen Sanji's name more today than ever in a long time. I think I got to say since like maybe the Black Maria incident. I don't know how to feel.
Look at the way you word that. The Black Maria incident. That's when I started doing One Piece videos again, too. It's the Black Maria incident.
Yeah, that was one
so
for the
funny.
books, man. You had people defending Sanji, people hating Sanji. It was one of those where it's just like, oh my gosh, Sanji is just one of the more controversial characters. And it continues today with this chapter because people are saying, oh my God, he's definitely getting Conqueror's Haki. And other people are like, I mean, that reaction doesn't say yes. What say you?
See, that's not exactly like a good reaction, right? Like, hey, old man, what about me? And then the next thing we see, it's like the back of Sanji's head with his cigarette falling out. It's like, wait a minute. Like, it kind of feels like Scopper told him no.
It feels like it's indecisive. Like, I don't see it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean, I feel like, bro, more than anything, Scopper should understand Sanji and the role that he has on the crew. You would think. He is the third guy, right? He's not as popular as Luffy and Zoro. Like Scopper is not as popular as Rayleigh and Roger. He's just not. But he's found a way and made up for it by being a monster in his own right. And I think for Sanji, whatever he said to him must be something along the lines of, I don't know, but you have to find a way to keep up or be even stronger on your own with your own abilities. And I mean, when you think about Sanji, Haki has never been at the forefront of his power-ups.
No.
He's never been that. And so, but he's always found a way to keep pace relative to Zoro. I mean, we know Zoro's stronger, but he's kept up for the most part. So I don't think he needs it.
But I feel like it would be a glaring omission if Sanji doesn't get Conqueror's Haki at this point, right?
Yeah.
Because he has to fight the God Knights. Like, well, actually, I don't know. I really don't know.
He has to. There's no way he doesn't fight the God Knights, bro. Like, people are like, oh, but Sanji can do so much more, like rescue the Straw Hats. It's like, okay, wait. So Zoro's up there fighting like a 1v3, and then Sanji's playing rescue, which I think he will do, but it's like, I mean, they could both do that, and then they can go on a fight. Like, I feel like when you think about all of One Piece, right? Every arc where there's like a big bad villain group, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, they have always fought the 1, 2, and 3s. Like, there's no way we're just gonna omit Sanji. What do you mean? It's always happened. Jabra, Queen, Mr. 2. Like, there's no way Oda's gonna break that up.
By the end of it, they end up having like their own battles. But Oda somehow always finds a way to separate Luffy and Zoro from Sanji in weird ways. But it's like he's not saying he's not on that level or that tier, but he kind of separates them. Like even with Luffy and Zoro being supernova, or part of the worst generation, you know. It's like, well, Sanji didn't make it because his bounty wasn't like what it should be based on who he is. Ooh. And then on the rooftop, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, he wasn't on the rooftop, but in the Toei posters, he was.
He was on the poster.
Who did they kick out again? Did they kick out Killer?
I think Killer.
Yeah, they kicked Killer. They put Sanji up there.
Which is okay. I get it. Luffy having 3, like, or the Straw Hats having 3 crew members in the Supernova, and then 3 crew members on the rooftop would be a little crazy. But I mean, it is what it is, right? But either way, I don't think Sanji has to fight the God Knights. But like, what else is he gonna do? You know, like I feel like it just be another moment where we feel like, come on, like why do we exclude Sanji? But I think a power up is inevitable for Sanji.
It's gonna happen.
What does that look like? I don't know, but it does feel like a massive power up is coming for Zoro, where the understanding of Conqueror's Haki and wielding it and using it, bro. I would lose my marbles if Luffy said, "Hey Zoro, you want to train and work on your Conqueror's Haki?" Oh my god! Listen, bro. Listen, man. That would be insane. But Oda uses Sanji in these moments to set up for like I think a greater moment in the end. I don't know if he's gonna get it, but I think he's gonna get a power up that's somewhat comparable. And it might not be Conqueror's, but what if it's Future Sight? What if he gains the ability somewhat to understand or see the soul like Scopper can? Because I think Future Sight is inevitable for Sanji. There's no way he's not getting Future Sight.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's no way Zoro gets Conqueror's Haki, Advanced Conquerors, all this, a Black Blade, and Sanji doesn't get Future Sight. I'm sorry. So, but a power-up is coming, though. It's coming.
I mean, I think Zoro even needs Future Sight, to be honest. I mean, Sanji, like, I want to give him Conqueror's Haki just so he gets to that level, just so he can try to fight the Holy Knights. Like I said, it doesn't have to be as strong as Zoro's by any means, but I think he just needs Conqueror's Haki at this point. And I feel like with how the Sun Realm is set up, I think Sanji's primed for it too. Like, you got to think about the girls, right? When you think about Sanji, you got to think about the girls. Nami and Robin are both tied up. And the other girl that Sanji cares about, Ripley, is about to get beaten, in my opinion. Right? Ripley's going to save Colin. Colin is being shepherded by Saint Somers. She's going to lose that battle. If Sanji shows up and he sees a giant woman, you know, the prettiest giant woman on the island being beaten, I think that could trigger either a Conqueror's Haki bloom, or maybe it's like what you said, right? Where Sanji gets a different kind of power. Maybe he taps in further into his Germa DNA. Or maybe he can only activate Conqueror's Haki because of his Germa DNA. I think that'd be kind of crazy. Like, what if he's like, oh yeah,
if it's built in?
Yeah, what if it's like built in, or maybe it's because of that DNA, he's like more in lieu with it. His body's more used to it, and that could explain why the cigarette is, falling out. That's why he's kind of shocked. He's like, wait, what? The Vince Smoke family did this to me? No, yeah. It's my Haki. What? That'd be kind of. It's like the Zoro Enma debate, right?
I don't remember what anime this is, but feel like it's prevalent in a lot of anime where like, there's a character where he's like, "Hey, do I have this?" And they're like, I feel nothing from you. And it's a situation where they don't feel anything because of the makeup, or like maybe it's too powerful. I think, was it Bleach where they didn't? I feel like it was where they didn't feel any Ryatsu from Ichigo.
No, I feel like he always had Ryatsu. You might be thinking about Chad.
Was it Chad? It was somebody they didn't feel any Ryatsu from, and then it was because they weren't strong enough to feel. No, it was Aizen. Was it Aizen?
Oh
no!
Oh, I remember now.
Yeah.
It is Ichigo.
Yeah.
It is Ichigo.
It's Ichigo.
Okay, you
It
said
was
Aizen
Ichigo.
and it all clicked. Yes. It's when he got that super power up.
He got the power up, and he was like, "What? I feel nothing." Da, 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 da. And then,
what a good reference.
I'm not saying that Sanji's.
Sanji, actually, you're a master of Conqueror's Haki. Your body's super used to it. I had to scold that guy over there, but you're fine. That'd be crazy. Dude, that glaze would be stupid.
It'll be insane, but it'll be on brand though for Sanji and Zoro,
That's crazy.
But I'm not calling Sanji like Ichigo in that form. I forget the name of the form. But
his Mugetsu form.
Mugetsu. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like something great is coming. I know people are gonna say it's cope, but hey, it is what it is.
It's in our face, man.
It's right there. Hiruden, our favorite giant. I'm not gonna lie, he's growing on me.
Really? You like Hiruden now?
Not.
You like the fit?
He's not. He's not. He's not growing on me.
Oh.
I do think. Okay, here's what I say. I commend him for having this much balls, for considering the powers that be, the people that are here, and he's like, no, Loki's not getting released. Da, 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 da. Even Luffy said, "Yo, just let him go." He's like, "No, I can't do that." I'm like, bro, do you know who you're talking to?
It's your captain, man.
This is your captain, all right? But I respect it because he's like standing 10 toes saying, "Yo, like this guy is scum. Like he killed our dad. He killed all these different people." And Luffy's response is, "All right, Loki, join my crew," which I feel like is a meme. It's damn near a meme because a lot of people have been saying about Loki joining the crew, but it's like, I like Zoro's response is like most of the fandom. Like, where is he gonna fit, bro? Like,
where's he gonna go? Is he gonna swim?
I didn't think of Sanji's response. It was like, bro, who gonna feed this guy? Like, how is this gonna work? You know what I mean? So I did love that, but it's like their personalities kind of showed in this moment because Luffy's just like, bro, Elbaf doesn't want him, and he's cool to me. So like,
it's like a lost dog.
Right? Like, come on, let's take him in. And if he acts up, I can beat him up. So like, what's the problem? And I like Loki saying, Loki didn't dispute Luffy beating him up. He's just like, well, there's no way I'm becoming your underling, which I'm starting to like Loki even more. Not gonna lie.
Great
but
character.
Loki's an easy character to like. But for Hiruden, even Scopper is telling him, yo, just release Loki. But then he gives the breakdown as far as the things that Loki's done. And now we're getting into the backstory of what happened, where Loki is now going to explain what happened 14 years ago. And I think it's along the lines of what we said, right? Where we don't feel like Loki killed Harold with bad intentions, felt like he had to do it because based on the dialogue, I felt like that was obvious. Then we go into flashback. We see young Loki and Harold. They were summoned to the castle, and Loki's already talking about Harold being a government dog, and there's some more from this chapter about that as well, and Harold and his dealings with Mary Joa. But Loki disagrees with Harold's proposal, or like his vision for Elbaf, because Elbaf at this point they are already like making, I guess, peace-addled brats. And so they're creating the generation of weaklings with this, where some people are speculating, is this Harold doing this to weaken Elbaf on purpose so that Emu can't use them? Or is he forced into this to make Elbaf a bit easier to control? Who knows? But we see Loki breaks into the room and Harold is being stabbed by 6 individuals. What that entire sequence, that entire scene, what were you thinking?
Dude, I do not even know. what an absurd thing to walk into. Your dad being stabbed by, 6 to 8 to 10 people. Like, they're all piercing him, too. Like, all those blades are going right through this guy. And then they silhouette the dad. Oda silhouettes the dad, but we can see the horn. All right, we see, like, this weird horn tusk. People are saying it's the mustache, and I could see that, but I feel like it's very intentional.
It feels like it could be a horn or it could be a mustache. Okay, how Oda did this was perfect, right? Because it could be the mustache, it could be a horn. Even the things that looks like it could be wings, for his design, he has like spiky shoulder blades, like shoulder pads.
Yeah.
So it looks like it could be wings poking out, or it could just be his spiky shoulder pads.
This stupid conversation. It could be this, but it could be that. Oda, he really did play his hand masterfully here, because we don't know. And, we're going to get people who are saying, guys, it's obviously this. But in reality, it's not that obvious. Like, it's very, like, 50-50. I lean towards it being a demon. I mean, we just saw demons. We saw that, Imu's able to turn people into demons. I mean, Shanks has the WG mark, which we'll get to in a bit. Yeah. So if you're telling me that Harold also does have a demon transformation, I'd believe you. I feel like, at least that seems more plausible. And maybe that's why the people stabbed him. Like, they're like, oh, it's a demon. This isn't our king. He's a WG dog. He's one of them.
I'm looking at the reactions of the people stabbing him. It's almost like they're reluctant. So I would not be surprised if Harold was like, yo, kill me now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he felt like what was happening and he told them to stab him. And obviously it didn't work because a few things. Well, we'll get back to Shanks and Scopper's conversation, but whenever there's a comment about, yo, let us out, there's something crazy going on in there. All right? Something crazy is happening. And this goes back to, like, my thoughts before all of this about, well, first off, we saw the condition of the castle, right? So after this, fighting happened. After everybody gets slaughtered, Jarl gets knocked out, sword in his head, fighting happens between Loki and Harold, right? And then we saw claw marks as well. So that people saying, like, that could be Loki and the Fenrir or whatever. I was like, that's more than likely a demon. And somebody transformed, and I think that's Harold. And the claw marks probably come from him. And I think those guys are trying to get out because after they stabbed him, she just revived and then everything was good again. And then this could go back to what Loki was saying earlier about, oh, my power. I understand it now, where maybe he was able to kill Harold by mistake, right? Where he put him down and he didn't understand how he did it. But after Scopper's words, he's like, oh, right? So I think even Loki having Conqueror's Haki, I think it pretty much confirmed it, but it's not a surprise. I mean, it's Loki, right? But I think more than anything, I believe that this is Harold transforming, turning into a demon, and they're trying to stop him. Like I said, it looks crazy, but I think he's transforming.
I mean, but there's also like an extra person here in the castle too, because we see somebody going down to steal the legendary devil fruit. So it's like, yo, is that Loki or is that Harold? Is that somebody else? Like, I think there could be just a third party here on this island. Maybe not like here currently, but it could be like a holy knight. It could be somebody up from the heaven realm. Like, that mysterious character is so crazy. And then, of course, Scopper says he sensed, like, ominous Haki coming from the castle.
Ominous Haki.
That's very much like what Scopper said when he first came to the castle current day, right? Because of the holy knights. Shamrock and Gunko got summoned, and that's why Scopper came all the way over here. I wonder if it's the same kind of Haki. Just like, oh, like,
probably is a
the
holy
Abyss
knight.
Mark. Yeah.
This probably is a holy knight. And this could be them trying to get this devil fruit, but maybe it was already taken. Who knows? But it's interesting because we talk about like the Gomu Gomu no Mi.
Yeah.
Right? And we know Shanks took it from a ship that was guarding it that the world government had. So could this be the Gomu Gomu no Mi? Because it's been evading the world government for a long time. It would not be crazy if it just existed in Elbaf and it was passed down and protected by the giants. Because we could just have multiple fruits in Elbaf that were passed down and being protected. Loki got one, and maybe Loki ate the one who he felt like that was the one of prophecy, and maybe they had a bunch of different dummy devil fruits. So it's hard to say, but Oda left it very vague. But based on the Haki that they felt, or Scopper said he felt, because Scopper went to investigate after he felt that Haki again, right? Clearly he felt it. He said, all right, let me go back to the castle. And so more than likely similar, and that's when the God Knights got summoned. And we know for a fact there was already a pentagram there. So they got summoned there before. So I would not be surprised if this is a God Knight. And I don't know if I want to say Shamrock.
I don't think so.
Shamrock feels a bit strong. But I'm willing to bet that God Knights were more than likely here when all this was going down.
Yeah, I think it is more than likely going to be a God Knight. Like you said, I don't think it's Shamrock, because if it was Shamrock, I think Loki's reaction towards Shamrock and Gunko down in the underworld would be very different. If Shamrock was there the day his dad died, the dialogue would have been so fire. But it's not. Loki even asked, like, wait, who are you? Like, why do you look like Shanks? So it's like, okay, that felt more just casual, inquisitive. So I think whatever God Knight it is, it's going to be a brand new one. It could even be Garling, for all we know. Right? Because this is a while
Ben
back.
Beckman.
Yeah, Ben Beckman, the world's strongest right hand, yeah?
Shanks was distracting Scopper.
Ooh, it's the Whitebeard Division Commanders.
Flamenco?
Yeah, Flamenco, all of them, man. I forgot all their names already.
Rockio? Speed Zero? Come on, Sai.
Oh, dude. Oh,
you
man, your
forget the
memory's better than
legends.
me. Holy crap.
Nah, I just remember the legends, man. Come on. But Oda did a great job with that. But let's double back real quick to Shanks and Scopper, because we got some interesting dialogue here at Scopper Gaban's house in the realm of the sun.
It's a nice house.
So Scopper says it's been a while since they shared a bath, and he says like 3-4 years, and Shanks like, what are you talking about? It's been like 10. This led to a lot of speculation about the time dilation in Elbaf. Do you think that's the
100%.
case? We talked about this before. We said, with Louis Arnaud and the note saying, or it was like a warning saying, hey, do not stay in Elbaf for too long. I don't think time is moving differently in Elbaf. I just think how it's being perceived is differently in Elbaf. So for Scopper, I think he's aging normally, but I think how time feels there, I don't know if it's for longer days, longer nights, or whatever. He's like, oh, it's only been 3 years, like, because that's what it's felt like. But I think he's aged 10 years, but it's dangerous. Right? It's super dangerous, because you could think, oh, I'm just going here, and if we say it's like 3 times, right? I'm just going on I've been here for 3 years.
It's like Neverland, yeah.
Right? And you're here for 3 years, and think about what's happened outside of Elbaf that entire time. Like let's say somebody got sent to Elbaf for training. Right, 3D2Y.
Oh no! Like Zoro and all them, they would never show back up. Luffy's like, wait, where are they? Like they would have missed this, right?
They would miss it, because in their mind, they're like, oh, it's been 2 years, but in the outside world, it's been 6 years. So they go back and they've aged 6 years, but they're perceived it's only been 2 years. So it's dangerous. It's very dangerous with Elbaf. But I think there's definitely like a time thing going on here. Even with like when they talk about Harold and how old he was, and even the giants and how old they are in comparison to humans. I think more than likely that's the case. What's going on
and then we even had a hint at this too back when we saw Shanks fight Kid initially, but before Shanks walked out, he's like, they're like, hey, Captain, he's here, he's coming. And then Shanks is like, oh, like I must have lost track of time. Like I think Elbaf, like you said, I think your perception of time here is just super skewed. Maybe, if we wanted to like make some kind of crackpot theory, we could say because they worship the sun lasts longer in Elbaf. Like I don't know.
I'm willing to think they have longer days and longer
days.
nights.
Yeah, longer days, longer nights.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, I'm thinking that's what it is.
100%.
Where it's just like, because if you go to sleep and wake up and it's still the same day, right? You're like, oh,
what the hell's going on? Yeah.
But
you still age
like,
normally,
cool.
like you said. Like we're not gonna get like some kind of speed boost training here, I think. But
And you got to also think
yeah.
about giants. Time matters less to them here, right? So they're not even probably tracking it as much because they even have like liquor that can knock you out for days. Like, so
And they live 3 times longer than the average person.
So for them, it's just like, it doesn't matter anyway. And so if you're a human living with giants, they're like, oh man, like we lived to 300. Like it's
no big deal.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. As a human, it's a little important. So things also start to make sense when you talk about like Mary Joa, where it's like they're like where Emu is saying, hey, what's taking you guys so long? Because for them, let's say they've been there a day, right? For Emu, and you guys have been here 3 days. What's going on? What's taking so long? So the time dilation, like when we think about everything that's been said, starts to make more sense.
Oh, yeah. And I'm just so excited to leave Elbaf now, right? Like when we leave Elbaf, what are we going to see? Because, dude, Egghead Island, we cut away a lot, right? Law, Blackbeard, Kid, Shanks.
See what was going on.
Hachi, Nosu, Reverie. Like we had so many different angles coming off of that. But here, Oda has not cut away. And I think that's because everything is moving quickly
moving. We have no idea how much time has passed outside world. All we know is that things are dying in Marijoa, right? And I don't know how long we've been in Elbaf. They're real, like, again, we fell asleep too on the way to Elbaf.
Yeah.
Right? So let's say it's been 4 days.
That's a lot.
Right? 4 days. That means that it's been about 12 days in the outside world, if we go off of the theory. And again, as the days add up, as more time passes, it's going to like multiply differently. So that's a lot of time in the One Piece world when you think about it. So low key, I would like for the Straw Hats to spend, let's say, 2 weeks in Elbaf.
Oh my god, I thought you were gonna say less time. You're like, no. Now that we know that time moves fast outside, let's stay here forever.
Because the thing is, in a way, it doesn't even buy them time. It's worse because once they leave out again, it's gonna be like, yo, what the hell happened?
Yeah, Kid's gonna master Conqueror's Haki, man.
Right? Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. But I do think like this makes for a lot of interesting stuff once we leave Elbaf. Like you said, it's actually going to be crazy. But the conversation with Shanks and Scopper, Shanks just wanted to be a regular carefree pirate.
He wanted to be with Buggy.
We still don't know what Roger told him, but Scopper called him, "You were a child of destiny." I mean, those are heavy words.
Yeah, coming from a guy that knows the truth as well. Like he knows the voice entry. He's been to Laugh Tale, and he's calling Shanks the child of destiny.
The child of destiny. What do you think the factors here are for this title, this heavy title and responsibility?
It's got to be lineage, right? I think it's because he is of celestial dragon blood, but we don't know what his mom is, right? We haven't seen the mom yet, so maybe the mom is special, and then the mixing of the races made Shanks the child of destiny. That could be it. Maybe it's the hair, right? The red hair is a symbol that, Joy Boy's waiting for this guy, which again brings up your guy Kid. Maybe he's the real child of destiny, man. I mean, people have been tossing that one around. Outside of that, it could, he could be a D-Clad member for all we know, which I think would be a little bit weird if Celestial Dragon had the D. But again, we don't know Shanks' mom. We don't know how he was cooked up. He could be like the Ichigo of One Piece.
I think Shanks' existence, in a way, reminds me of another anime, JJK.
Oh, like Gojo?
Where it's just like
he was born and the world stood still.
It was a lot of gas on his birth, but not only with his birth, but also like what he was bestowed, right? Like, and so the abilities he got, the clan he was born into, it was just like, this kid is obviously special, right? And for Shanks, I think lineage matters here, but also when you think of destiny, it's like these things were just supposed and meant to happen this way. He was found in a chest by the Roger Pirates. And he has a twin who is, and he's a kid of one of the more powerful people in the world. And he is insanely strong, but he has, as far as we know, a good heart. And so it's like for Shanks, Roger obviously saw something in him and, gave him some responsibility. And I think for Shanks, he's taken on that burden. But in a way, well, we see the mark, right? And the Summers had the same mark on his band. We saw that as well. So Shanks has a tattoo, and we now know Shanks went to Marijoa, had a talk with King Harold in Marijoa, but it wasn't really a talk. They had to talk again. So Harold was somewhat, he was not talking the way he should because they're in Marijoa. But Shanks, what were you doing in Marijoa? What do you think?
Fulfilling his destiny, man. I think, as the child of destiny, I think he walks both sides. But people are calling Shanks a rat. I don't agree with that. I think more so than not, I think it's just a bunch of memes, to be fair. And I love the memes, right? Shanks rat. Oh, dude, somebody drew up the transformation. They were cooking. But outside of the jokes, though, it does seem like Shanks has the greater good in mind, because whatever Marie-Joie is scheming, whatever they're cooking up against Harold, Shanks is ready to tell him about it, saying, "Oh, I should probably warn him before it's too late." Yeah, Shanks is good. I think he's playing as a double agent. I think he's waiting for his time to shine, for his time to stab Emu in the back. And I'm curious, because not only does Scopper see Shanks as the child of destiny, but I think there's a really good chance that Emu and the WG sees Shanks as the same way. And the reason
Also,
I say that is because, Shanks is able to go back to Marie-Joie right now. He was literally just there. They didn't accept Doflamingo. Doflamingo was tainted blood by the time his dad left. But Shanks, a guy who was raised by Gold Roger, the Pirate King, he's able to go back. That seems odd. Shanks is getting special privileges that other celestial dragons, well, mainly just Doflamingo, did not get. So whatever Shanks' role is, I think it's something that the world government can't work without.
I think for Shanks, like you said, both sides, right?
Yeah.
I think there was also something that said that Shanks was able to copy Roger's attack. He was the only one, right? Off of seeing it.
Yes, he's a prodigy.
So he's a prodigy, right? So imagine Roger using Kamusari, then Shanks just whips it out with a regular blade. They're like, what the So it's a lot of factors there, and Shanks bet it all on Luffy. Another thing to consider, that mark, let's say that's the mark of the abyss, right? Where this allows you to travel back and forth. And let's say this is the mark that also allows regen. This is the connection. And again, this is insane retcon for the Luffy and Shanks moment.
Such
Insane.
a good retcon.
Not a bad retcon, though.
Amazing retcon.
And I don't want to paint it or frame it like Shanks intentionally gave his arm up. I do think that he wanted to save Luffy, then his arm ended up getting bitten. But if he is that, right, and he was bestowed that power because of who he is, he just left the arm, right? He's like, all right, I lost the mark.
He said, forget it.
I lost the arm. This is what, he definitely is a child of destiny then, because I lost something that was really important to my strength. So I don't want to reframe that moment because it's a great moment on its own, but it could be more impactful considering who Shanks is or was and was meant to be, and what he gave up for Luffy because of
future.
how much he believed in him.
I mean, have you seen what people have been saying?
Say
They're saying that Shanks is the first character that Luffy's ever liberated him from the role of Child of Destiny. I was like, oh, it's kind of fire. I like that. I don't know. I mean, it's
you can
true.
look at it that way. You can look at it that way, or like Shanks passed the responsibility on to Luffy because he was like, I don't want to do this shit.
I mean, he's still doing it though, right? Like, hey, if that was it, he could have just joined Buggy the next day. But the funniest thing to think about too, by the way, is that Shanks is regularly over here visiting Marie Joie, and this is when Shanks had his crew. So what does Yasopp, Ben Beckman, and Lucky Roo know about this? Like, do you think they're just okay with it? Do you think they also go up to the Holy Land, or do they wait outside? Like, I don't know. Like,
I think they wait outside.
Okay.
I think they wait outside. But I think if Shanks can travel through the mark, then he's just, zipping over there.
What if the crew doesn't know? Like, he's in his cabin, he locks his door, and he just teleports.
Do you think Shanks, like, he said he went on like a solo journey to find himself? Because I think initially he went to Mary Joie not for anything than to find out more about his lineage, and I think probably that's when he got Griffin.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, Griffin's passed down. I mean, Griffin could be like a special monster blade, kind of like what we talked about a long time ago.
Or was Shamrock using Cerberus? Like,
yeah,
he got a Griffin. And so I didn't think Shanks Glaze could get any crazier, but it just did. It really just did. Like, he's special. And Mihawk upscale?
It's funny. Think about Shanks now. He reminds me of Raymundo from Shaolin Showdown.
Oh my gosh.
You
what a pull.
Yeah, he reminds me of Raymundo, dude. He's over here playing both teams, brother.
I mean, because we go back all the way to Marineford when Sengoku said, because it's you, Shanks.
The Child of Destiny.
And again, it's not only lineage, he's strong as hell.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, people are saying the minute Sengoku said, because it's you, Shanks, I heard Mihawk stocks went through the roofs that chapter.
But then, like, okay, it's crazy because time changes things immensely. After Marineford, I thought Mihawk stocks was so low. I thought he was so mid. You did, like, in real time when I was watching Marineford,
it was bad.
It was bad.
It's because they put him against Vista, and for some reason Mihawk was just over here clashing for like a whole episode.
And then he said, Vista, we can't, let's not do this here. Vista?
Let's call it off, Vista.
And then after that, he said, no, I didn't. Right here, no, I didn't want that. And then even in the same arc, he's like, let's test the distance between. It was just so many moments where I'm like, what's up with Mihawk?
It's funny because looking at it from Oda's perspective, I bet he thought that was fire for Mihawk. Like, dude, Mihawk's fighting multiple division commanders. But from the fan base perspective, it's like, ooh, this is the strongest.
I don't feel that way anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think it's just like, clearly Marineford is a hodgepodge of whatever. But I remember after watching Marineford, because around Marineford is when I caught up, I was like, okay, this guy, I mean, listen, I don't feel it. And then he's running from Shanks and he's testing himself versus an old Whitebeard. This is like, and he gets stopped by Jozu, and it's like
Mihawk gets stopped at the division commanders. That's where.
And then he's fighting against Crocodile, Clash of Crocodile, right?
Yeah. Mr.
One couldn't cut Buggy, couldn't cut Luffy when he said there's no restraint. It was like a bad time for Mihawk and Marineford. Not gonna lie, but I've come around on him. But it's funny how time changes things, because at that point, nobody was telling me that Mihawk was stronger than Marco. I didn't.
Yeah, and that's such a nasty conversation. Mihawk versus
Nasty.
Marco. Like, dude,
It sounds
no.
nasty now.
That's like
but-
a one shot, dude. No way.
One shot. Yeah, it is.
It's definitely a one shot.
Wait.
No,
Well,
Marco's getting
he has
one
regen.
shot.
He has regen.
Nope. Dude, Mihawk is cutting through the regen. The Phoenix is not getting up. That is my headcanon. There's no way
He's cutting through the regen side. That's a little bit of glaze.
Marco would not withstand a Mihawk or Shanks attack. I put Shanks there too. If Shanks can do it, Mihawk can. It's like boom, boom. They're neck and neck. I do not see Marco surviving Kamusari. I do not see Marco surviving.
One-shots Mihawk? I mean, you think Mihawk one-shots Marco?
Oh, yeah. With like a serious attack, 1,000,000%. Of course. Yeah. I would be disappointed if Mihawk did not put Marco down in one shot. Take Mihawk out of it. Put Shanks in there. Would you be disappointed if Shanks did not take down Marco in one hit if he was serious? A serious Shanks versus Marco. One shot.
Shanks is a different beast, though. So.
But Mihawk's right there next to him, though. They are standing side by side. That's how I see them. They're literally like Guy and Kakashi, man.
I'm trying to picture it because Marco is a very special case where even Big Mom was like, I need more souls.
No. But that's the thing, though, right? Like, we're saying Big Mom's like the, quote, weakest Yonko besides Buggy. So, I mean, Shanks up there, man. Different caliber.
Whew. Guys, chat, let us know. Would Mihawk one-shot Marco even though
With a
he has
serious attack?
Phoenix regen.
He's gonna kill the
mighty
Phoenix,
has
man.
fallen, guys. I'm not gonna lie. 10, 11 years ago, Marco was on top of the world, man. A lot of people loved Marco. Marco was considered close to the level of Benny. Well, you got to think about his stocks somewhat plummeted after the time skip. I want to say around Fishman Island. I think that's when
The
we
Revenge
found out.
War? Yeah.
Yeah. With that war, when they told us that they lost, because Marco, a lot of people, I'm gonna do the thing that people do when they say like nobody's thinking about this, when everybody's thinking about it. Well, a lot of people don't remember that Marco was up for as a Yonko candidate. And you know, if he had beaten Blackbeard, he probably would have been a Yonko. And he got destroyed. They say they got demolished, which, I mean,
Dude,
you
that
lose
scene
Ace, you
in
lose
the anime
Whitebeard.
is so funny. Because you see
It's
Blackbeard
hilarious.
laughing like this, and then you see all the Whitebeard pirates sinking into the darkness.
And
Oh, it's
Marco's
hilarious.
Yeah, it's a bad scene, but it
like
makes
the
sense.
Eclipse.
You lose your captain, and you lose like first off, you lost Blackbeard, right? Who is a powerhouse. You lost Thatch, who was a division commander. You lost Ace, a division commander, and you lose Whitebeard. So like,
And then they lose Izo.
Izo, it was just a sad bunch, and Jozu lost an arm.
Do not forget, Weevil is going around packing up all the Whitebeard allies too. It is a bad time to be a Whitebeard commander, brother. Ooh.
In the anime, I believe, is it Whitey Bay?
Yeah, Whitey Bay. And there's like one more that got destroyed
They got
by
killed,
Weevil.
apparently, in the
Yeah.
anime. I don't know what the heck is going on. But yeah, it was just a bad time. But back then, Marco was heralded. So for you, one shot by Mihawk, I don't know if I disagree. I might agree. But man, I don't know, man. Marco is one of my guys.
I don't know. Dude.
Either
I
way.
saw his ass chilling at Sphinx Island, and I didn't lose respect.
like-
I was just like, I don't know. He doesn't have
Marco
that dog
never
in him anymore, man. He retired.
I don't feel like Marco
retired.
ever had that dog in him, man. Like, cause think about it, bro. Shanks walked to the ship. He's like, "Yo, do you want to join me?"
Yeah, but think about all the people that joined Shanks, though. You're either one of his top dogs, or you're one of the bum pirates that just follow him around. Where would
But
Marco
I think
go?
like that was disrespectful for Shanks to do. That was so
That's kind of
disrespectul.
disrespectful, man.
Very disrespectful. That's right. Whitebeard's right hand man. Hey, do you want to?
You want to just join, man? Come on. Hang out. It's crazy.
But like you said, Harold, Shanks wanted to speak to Harold before it was too late. So Shanks had an idea of something that was probably going on, or Harold mentioned something, or maybe Harold was a bit, you know, unnerved at Mary Joa, and Shanks picked up on it. You know, Shanks is an observation hockey master. Um, Either way, next chapter, we're going into flashback because we get to see the scummy giant who built the reputation of these Elbaf warriors, a young King Harold of Warland. And, you know, a lot of people are saying, man, reminds me of Kaido.
Dude,
and if he's
he
as
looks
scummy
like Kaido.
as we think, as he seems to be, him just dropping kids off around the world, not that crazy.
What? He's over here chasing Punani, man. Like there's a pretty princess in this kingdom, huh? I gotta see her. Like, yeah.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
now understand why he might have a lot of kids just hanging around. This guy.
I mean, you know, Buccaneers are just like, you know, prevalent around here because of King Harold just dropping it off. So,
I mean, look at his size. Like, just one load would just flood an entire village. Yeah, dude.
just get like all the women there pregnant.
Yeah, just in one fell swoop. Like, he could do a drive-by, like, oh my god, they're shooting a cannon. Wait, no, it's just King Harold. And then,
Yeah,
boom.
but it's insane. Like,
Yeah.
he's going after these pretty women, but it's like, how does it work? But either way,
We don't ask questions.
he's pure scum, and what we're gonna see is probably his. I don't want to say his ascension, but how he goes from being pure scum to less scum, and you know how he changed, and more than likely, typically in One Piece, change like this happens because of a
Love.
woman. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so this is the story of King Harold, and again, it's 109 years ago. Very interesting time. It's before a lot of the people that we know, a lot of the legends that we know, were around. So we may see some very interesting ancestors. We may get some Zebek stuff. I think it'll be funny if we saw Kureha,
Yeah, Kureha, Carmel, just any person who's, like, super old.
right? Because they were around, and again, we kind of even skimmed certain parts of the chapter. A very long, extensive, amazing chapter of One Piece this week.
It is fantastic. I mean, like, you know, the more I talk about it, the more I'm just like, dude, there's, like, a lot here. Like, there's not a single page in this chapter that can't hold the conversation on its own.
Exactly. We could have had like an entire thing just talking about Shanks and Scopper in that entire conversation because that was really important. I think even Sanji and Zoro. I think we can have a conversation about the Monster Trio, Jinbei, where that fits in. I think even the other Straw Hats and the Haki, and then Scopper scolding Zoro about using Haki and supporting Luffy, and how would that conversation be with the other Straw Hats, considering that all the others except for Jinbei don't have Haki, or they don't use Haki in a way that's consistent. Because I think Usopp has observation.
But he doesn't even know it, right? Like,
Yeah.
Scopper would give Usopp the same conversation. Like, yo, like, you have observation, but you don't know what you have? What are you doing, man?
Nico Robin, you're 30.
You have 900 million worth of berries on your head right now. Like, you are worth that much. How do you not have Haki? What are you doing?
Brooke, you used to be what did Brooke used to be? He was like the leader of a royal convoy.
Yeah.
Right? And he knows about the God Knights. He has so much info about all these things, and you don't have Haki. Like he would scold a lot of them.
I think they need
for all
it,
this
to be
information.
honest.
Jeez, man.
They
like,
need to be
it's-
scolded. Like, yo, you guys are a Yonko crew. It's not like you have a lot of people to rely on, right? Like, you are the main group that should be protecting Luffy.
I know people
Where's
get
the
triggered
Haki at?
sometimes when we start talking about like Haki and the Straw Hats having Haki because they feel like the Straw Hats can compete without it. And I agree. The Straw Hats is like their top 3 crew for sure. I think it's just with the Straw Hats not having Haki, Oda then inherently has to make like their opponents weaker. And
Yeah.
it makes for lackluster fights and lackluster matchups.
And the thing is, like, the Straw's always found a workaround, right? But it's usually because the opponents are weaker. Like, for example, if Nami had to fight a Logia, she wouldn't win because she can't hurt him, right? Like, I'm not saying, like, the Straws have to be all masters of Haki. I think they just need the basics. right? If every vice admiral in the Navy has observation and armament, I think there's no reason why the Straw Hats shouldn't. Just basic.
But that's why it feels like when Nami is fighting against Page One in Ulti.
Yeah.
That's why we were like, I don't see it. Like I don't see it happening, and they were getting destroyed. So with Haki, you can feel like, okay, they can do this and do this. Without it, it just feels like they're sitting ducks, and it just continues. But either way, amazing chapter. Sai, any final thoughts?
I'm excited to see how Kaido comes into play. I cannot wait. Because, like, dude, as much as King Harold looks like Loki, he also looks like Kaido. I mean, Oda's not even trying to hide it, in my opinion, dude. Like, look at this guy.
Yeah, he looks a lot like Kaido. I think if he is Kaido's dad, but if it reminds me of when we saw Katakuri and Oven and Daifuku. We were like, oh my god, Oven.
What happened to this guy?
Looked like Kaido, man. Like, and it's like, well, yeah, Kaido being Oven Katakuri's dad. That'd be
kind of funny. It wouldn't be that bad. I mean, something, on the seas
like,
for a while. Like, things just kind of happen, man.
Yeah, but that's like little bro, apparently, for Big Mom.
That is true, but maybe it's just like one of those, like, it's like stepbrother. Oh, shoot, stepsis.
One of those stepbrothers, stepsis scenes.
Yeah, what's going on, stepsis? You
like,
you
he
want
just
a
walks
family?
in on Big Mom, and Big Mom's pregnant. She's breastfeeding, and he's like, whoa.
I mean, Big Mom
Heavy.
apparently has given birth so many times while she was on the Rocks Elizabeth crew, right? Like, she had a lot of her kids already. So it's like, how did that even work? Like, did she just pop out the kids and then they joined Rox's crew, or did they get popped out and then dropped off on an island? Like, we have no
Big
clue
Mom,
how that works.
Like, this is a throwback, but my guy, One World HD.
Oh my god.
He This is a crazy throwback. He had a theory that Big Mom had the mom fruit. And that her having babies, she didn't have to carry them the full term. And she could just pop babies out a lot sooner. So something else that could still be revealed. If Blackbeard can eat 2 devil fruits, why can't the biggest mom? So
yeah, she has the mom. I'm looking at One World HD's YouTube account right now. I pulled it up. We're talking about this guy off stream like once a month or something.
yeah. Shout out to my guy, One World, man.
Yeah, please come back wherever you are.
I don't think he's ever coming back, but
His latest chapter review. Wait,
5 years, 6 years?
yeah, 4 years ago. 10-13. Yo, what happened? He dropped off at Onigashima.
Yeah, he came back for a while and did a couple reviews, and he's like, I don't want to do it. But the crazy part about him, which is insane, he stopped making videos because he felt like he made all the videos he wanted to make. I think he had like 98,000 subscribers at the time when he stopped, or 99,000. So he's right at the cusp of 100,000, and he just stopped. He said, I've made all the videos I want to make. I'm done.
I like his thumbnails. It's like he got Luffy with the mustache in one, Shirahoshi with blue eyes, Kaido with red eyes. He has one of
he was innovative
Scopper?
Back then because he did the him and Alpha Too Late back then because he had
Alpha Too Late.
Yeah, he had the Gear 5th Overdrive the Monkey God. That's what One World had. His Monkey God theory went viral. I think it had like 4 million, 5 million views, something like that. And then Alpha Too Late, Alpha Too Late was one of the GOATs too. And then, man, that was crazy because Alpha Too Late got hacked and then he got accused of like stealing theories and he came back and he got hacked. It was just crazy times.
Alpha Too Late. My bad. I got him mixed up with another creator, Double 4 Anime.
Double 4 is a different
dude. I was gonna say Double 4 Alpha 2. They're like brothers in a way, their names.
Yeah, they both had some very controversial moments in the community. But man, community lore, guys.
Dude,
community
it's so
lore.
good. Double 4 Anime. Shout outs, man. Where's he now? Where is that guy?
I know he had a meltdown where he had like a gun and he made a video and him and Neverworld got into it because I think Double 4 was gay and I don't know.
And there's like a whole thing where he was invited to a reverie and it was just like a giant crash out.
I don't know. Double four, I don't know. I don't remember him getting invited to a referee. I just know that he crashed out, and I think it was on Filthy Frank.
Oh yeah. Like he was the guy that attacked Filthy Frank for making anime look weird, but Filthy Frank is just kind of memeing, so it's like
he was memeing.
You're fighting a ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a dude.
Good times.
10 years ago,
Shout out to Co-Provider too. Another very interesting. Like, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of One Piece creators, like, or creators, like anime creators, they just
they either like die as a hero or end up the villain. Like I think a great One Piece creator that just he left with no drama, Sawyer 7. Sawyer. He just said goodbye to One Piece and he just never showed back up.
Yeah. You know what I think happened? I think what happened was probably like he like took a break. It's supposed to be like a month.
Yeah.
It's like,
this feels good.
Gosh, this feels good.
Nah, dude, I follow him on Instagram. And he still like occasionally posts One Piece stuff, and he's like just traveling and hanging out. So it's like, oh, at least he's taking care of himself. It's like an ask for.
Yeah. I do follow him as well. He posts like random like
a story a day,
like a story, and it'd be like One Piece music. Just letting the people know he's fine. So he's fine. It's just like he's just not making content right now. That's okay,
dude. Wait, is it a curse actually? To have like a number in your name, Sawyer 7 Mage, Alpha 2 Late, Double 4 Anime. Like if you have a number in the middle of your name, I think it just curses you. That's 3 creators with numbers in the middle. We are literally 3 for 3.
What about Threeville?
No, God, Threeville. Yeah, guys, do not put numerical values in your username. That's the One Piece curse. Don't do it.
Huh.
Oh God. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't put like a Psy 3.0 or something for my YouTube channels.
I guess numbers.
Oh my God.
Cause I think there's a channel called Infernape 1000. He was like a meme channel.
Oh, I see.
I don't know if he's still around, but like he's a meme. But shout out to the GOAT, man. Shout out to King of Lightning, because King of Lightning is from that era,
Yeah.
And he's still around.
I mean,
he's
isn't Neverworld still here too?
Not really.
Yeah, he's still posting, King of Lightning, but just not about like One Piece, right?
Not about anime. I like that.
Yeah.
I think he does news and stuff, but yeah, King of Lightning was boxing with the legends of that era, man, and
he survived, man.
He's still around, man. He's still around kicking. So shout out to King of Lightning. Tekking as well.
Tekking, yeah.
But Tekking was not a One Piece guy.
He was all Bleach.
He was the Bleach guy. And then Tekking, came over and became the One Piece guy.
Yeah, he came over and he just never left.
Shout out to that guy Tekking, man.
And then there's also Chibi Reviews, but he's like more just broad anime, huh?
Chibi's expanded, because Chibi used to review like everything, every anime season. He was dropping like 10 reviews for everything he was watching. He's watching a lot of shit, and now I think he's branched out into news and just updates about anime and manga, which I think that's probably best, because trying to review all that. But what people don't understand is like reviews take a while, and especially if you're reviewing everything and multiple things in a day, you gotta watch it, sit down, record it, edit it, figure out a thumbnail, then upload it in a time where like people can watch it. And you gotta factor in other people dropping reviews too. So it's a very tedious thing. So to do that for like every single or a lot of anime in a season,
it's a lot. And then like, if you review something, you want to be at least decently well versed. And if you're watching a lot of different series, you're going to kind of forget some stuff.
It's hard to keep up.
It's hard to keep up.
You were reviewing a lot of stuff for a while.
Yeah,
as well.
10 years ago, I was reviewing like 5-7 animes a week. Just all different series too. I got Fairy Tail. I got just everything that aired really. And it was a different era, man.
Naruto, Bleach. I think I did like 3 reviews of this show that came out back then. It was called Ushio Totoro.
Oh yeah.
It was Ushio Totoro.
Yeah, Like the yokai
forgot it.
lion guy.
The yokai, yeah. That yokai thing. It was like, gonna be the next big thing, and so.
Ooh, remember
review
Tokyo
that.
Ghoul, dude? Tokyo Ghoul was
Of
the
the opening.
worst to review because like the manga, you can never tell what the hell's going on in there.
Manga, you can't see the manga. It's like you can't tell what's happening. I love the anime. Whoa. I liked
No.
the opening. Here's the thing. I didn't hate the anime as much as Tokyo Ghoul fans, obviously,
Yeah.
because they understood it. But like, I even went back recently and watched like what's his name, Fight versus Jason in the anime.
Kaneki versus Jason, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, it's just not great. It's just
It was
it's
good
just
for like what, 2012? It just doesn't live up now. I think that's
Also,
what it is.
I gotta give some props to somebody that doesn't get enough credit because of Tokyo Ghoul and what happened to it. But Arima, I believe that's his name.
Yeah.
Aura.
Arima Kisho.
Alright.
Yeah, he would have if we talk about Conqueror's Haki, he would have it. He would be
I
like
think
the Shanks of that series.
I think if they remade Tokyo Ghoul and did it justice, Arima would get a lot more love today from a lot of fans, considering what he is to the story and just the character that he is. So, shout out to Arima. But yeah, guys, we continue to do this. We're gonna be here for 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
but yeah,
just talking about old
Sai,
anime.
I appreciate you joining me. Always a great time.
Of course, brother.
Sai's channel will be linked in the description down below. Check him out, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace out, guys.
Out.